This is day number 31. Post. Let me just clarify this one here. Okay, good evening, good morning. I keep saying good evening because it's evening here, but good morning. If it's early morning for you, good day, midday, good afternoon, good evening. This is Shirley, and this is day number 31 of my 45 days live. We're winding down, folks. 2/3 of the way, we're winding down, and at the same time, ramping up, because the big question about what happens after these 45 days is still hanging. I've been getting suggestions from people, and I'm taking them all into account, and I am going to use them. I'll let you know what I've decided in before the 15 days are up. I mean, obviously, it's a decision I have to make before the 15 days are up. But before I do anything else, anyway, let me also, I'm not sure if I'm to apologize, because, see this noise you're hearing? These night sounds, they are the night sounds. I'm in the Caribbean. Hello there. I'm in the tropics. The windows are wide open. The northeast trade winds are blowing through. The northeast trade winds keep us relatively cool most of the time. It's raining outside right now. And these sounds, they sound really, really good at night. The Caribbean, just like the forest, the jungle, the forest, tropical forests are not quiet places. The animals, there's some animals, creatures, beasts that get really, really active at night. Crickets and little tree frogs about this big as, the first digit of my finger. And they make the most beautiful sounds. Several people have commented that they like them. But somebody asked me today, what is that whistling sound that I hear when you start your live? I've come to think it's my theme music. Tropical night sound is my theme music. But anyway, yes, I'm in the tropics, and I guess I could find a room that is, I could lock the sounds out, but why? I mean, why? Why not? Let's just enjoy all of it. Get the full experience is what I say. I like that for everything that I do. But anyway, good evening. I said yesterday that tomorrow night, Thursday, in the live tomorrow, we'll be talking with a friend of mine who is a cancer survivor and who has lived a life that is an amazing and inspirational example of survival, resilience, strength, and who has come through and is thriving. She has, like I said, she's a cancer survivor. She's had an aneurysm. She's had some serious health challenges and have survived and is thriving. But what's more interesting, what's also very interesting is that in the process, she has shifted. She used to be a chef. She still is a chef. But she has changed the way she cooks and the things that she cooks these days. See, I'm melting. And has changed the way she cooks. So whereas, I think I said that last night, I might have, if I didn't, she used to make the most delectable, delicious, sinful chocolate mousse cake thing to die for. And dark chocolate's not bad for you. So really it's not terrible, except it's all full of cream. But anyway, she has changed how she cooks, and because she has changed her whole health story, and she's going to talk to you about that tomorrow. She'll be pretty much talking to you for the entire 15, 20 minutes tomorrow. She's going to talk to you about how her changing her whole lifestyle has helped her not just survive, but come through and be doing really, really well physically. And she'll probably also talk to you, if we have time, about the spiritual part of this, the other pieces of her that she has in the process modified, if you will. And so tonight, in anticipation of that, I want to talk to you about health, because health is so important. Health is critical, and there are many, many, many of us who don't pay nearly enough attention to health. We don't make the time, don't take the time, because we women are always busy taking care of something else or somebody else, or there are always so many other things to do that that are not about us, and we very often don't find the time, don't make the time. That's what I say: make the time, take the time to look after yourself. As far as health is concerned, what can I say? I'll tell you a quick story. My family has a history of diabetes. It's a non-communicable disease. You don't catch diabetes from somebody. It's not a germ. It's not a virus. It's something that some doctors think is hereditary. However, all doctors pretty much agree that just because it's in your family history is not an indication that you will absolutely, or that you must. You cannot avoid developing diabetes. My father's grandmother on his mother's side, so my father's maternal grandmother, died from complications of diabetes. My father's mother died from complications of diabetes. My father's sister died from complications of diabetes. My grandma, I did not know my great-grandmother. I think she died the year I was born, so I did not know her. I've heard lots of stories about the kind of woman that she was and how she lived. And my grandmother had migrated from the island, and so I met my grandmother. I've seen my grandmother on maybe 4 or 5 occasions in my life. When I was born, she was living in the United Kingdom. And when I was older, she had moved to the United States and was living there. And so I never met my grandmother until I think I was maybe about 9 or 10. And then I saw her several times after that. And then after that, I was growing up. So by the time I was a teenager, hi there. By the time I was a teenager and going off to school and college and so on, you know that happens. So I didn't know my grandmother very well, but I know when she died, and I know what had happened. My auntie, however, my father's sister, I'd known she had diabetes. I'd known that my 2 other grandmothers had died from diabetes. And I knew that diabetes was a terrible, devastating disease, but I'd never actually seen it. However, I was living in the United States with my auntie, who was a powerful, fun, sexy, passionate woman, hardworking woman who just, was in charge of her life and her family's life. She was a badass. There's no other word to put. My Aunt France was a badass. But Aunt France, she was a nurse at Maimonides Hospital. Hey. Aunt France was a nurse at Maimonides Hospital in Brooklyn. She had migrated first from Montserrat to Trinidad, where her mother, my grandmother, was living at the time, and then had moved from Trinidad to the United States. In the United States, she built the life that she wanted. She did really, really well as a nurse, and she got herself a nice house, all the things that she wanted. And she used to work really hard. So for years, my auntie worked at night, worked 3 to 12, whatever that shift is, 3 to 12. Then would come home and sleep, and in the morning get up and go take care of her business. She bought a couple of apartments, she bought another building, bought a house in New Jersey. She was doing really, really, really well, and had made all of the preparations for when she retired. She would do the traveling, the reading, all the fun stuff that she didn't give herself time to do when she was 30, 40, 50 years old. She had planned. She was buying the books. She was, making the arrangements for all the fun she was going to have. Hey, there you go, Nika, your shift. Making the arrangements for all the fun she was going to have. And then about 2 years before she hit 65, she was probably about 61. She had a mini stroke, a mild stroke. A mild stroke. And she lost her peripheral vision. So she couldn't drive anymore. It was dangerous for her to drive. But then because she wasn't driving, she was less mobile than before. And so she developed circulation problems. And then the circulation problems, the doctors at the hospital, because she was a nurse, she got taken care of really, really well. The doctors at the hospital did a graft on her legs, on her lower legs, to improve circulation. But because she was diabetic, they didn't heal quickly. I think they didn't even actually heal at all. They took forever anyway. And then the process, she got laser surgery to help repair her vision. She had a bleed instead and lost her vision. All of this happened in the space of about 3 or 4 years. So from this vibrant, sexy, passionate, badass woman, one day, in a matter of months, she was laid out. Wasn't driving anymore, wasn't mobile, wasn't seeing. And then it was all downhill from there. It was further downhill, faster downhill. And she was in the hospital more than she was out. And I remember she said to me once that as a nurse, she knows what the prognosis is. And she said, the one thing I do not want is to be on dialysis. I do not want, in diabetes, your kidneys eventually fail if it's that bad. And she did not want to be on dialysis. She said, I'd rather die than be on dialysis. But guess what happened? Her kidneys failed and she had to be dialyzed. And I watched my auntie in the space of, like I said, 3 or 4 years, just go down and down and down. And then she started her extremities, she started getting atrophy in her extremities. So basically circulation was so bad that her fingertips and the tips of her toes were dying. And they cut off 1 or 2 and then she died. She died before she could enjoy all of the things that she was planning to enjoy, all the traveling she was going to do with her grandchildren, and all the books she was going to read, the concerts she was going to go to, all of that. None of that happened. None of that happened because of health, because of diabetes. Because when she was busy taking care of herself and everybody, when she was busy taking care of business and everybody else, she was not taking good enough care of herself. So I made a determination that I don't know what I'm going to die from, but I know it will not, absolutely will not be diabetes. And so I take very, very good care of my health. I take very good care of my health. Of course, I allow myself the delectable, sinful chocolate cake from time to time. Exactly. Live now. Take the trip, eat the cake. Yes. And buy the shoes. Yes, Tanika, buy the shoes. Have fun. Enjoy life. It's meant to be. Spend time with the people you love, the people who love you. Find new people to love. Do the things. Live the life. And if these last 3 years of COVID taught us nothing else, it must have brought that straight home to you. And so what I want to say to you today is just precisely that. Take good care of yourself. Have fun, because laughter and fun actually help you stay alive and help you live well. But also pay attention to how you eat and make sure you get exercise. And I want to make it clear, this is not, there are people who think that if you're skinny as a rail, you are healthy. You're more like, no, we're talking here about being healthy. There are beautiful women with curves, and which some of that I don't have. There are beautiful women who have no curves. There are women all along the spectrum who take good care of themselves, who are healthy because they take good care of themselves, who get the exercise, who eat right, who laugh a lot, who enjoy building and enjoying taking advantage of good relationships with people in their lives, who love people, love their people, allow themselves to be loved. So really what it takes, what I have found out, what I've been told, what I've seen, the 2 major things, you all know that, the 2 most important things for health are nutrition and exercise. And I've seen it written and heard it said over and over by scientists and medical personnel that above all, nutrition is important. So many of us stay away from oil and fat because we're afraid to get fat. That's not the problem. I use a lot of oil in my cooking, coconut oil, olive oil. I drizzle oil over everything. I have butter on my bread. I eat cheese. I don't eat meat much. No particular reason except I don't like the texture of meat. But I do eat meat, and when I travel, I try the meats and foods and things that people do, because that's part of enjoying the experience, part of taking care of yourself. Yes, because enjoying the experience is taking care of yourself. So I eat well. I eat well. My mother has that. She used to say that her children eat well. I don't eat like, I don't starve myself. Trust me. I eat. And I have a sweet tooth, so I eat cake. I eat chocolate. I eat ice cream. Yes. And I love wine. I drink red wine. I'm not so crazy about white wine. I drink beer. I drink caipirinhas. That's one of my favorites. Yes. And I also make sure I get exercise. And the exercise is not hard. You don't have to be jumping or going to the gym and pumping iron. Guess what? Walking 4 or 5 times a week. Walking for an hour or so 4 or 5 times a week. It does wonders for your circulation, your heart, your cardiac system. It also works wonders for your brain. Because when I walk, all kinds of thoughts clear themselves up in my brain. And so it reduces stress, because that's the other killer. That's the other killer, stress. It's not being fat or skinny. It's stress and not eating properly and not getting enough exercise. So I urge you to make sure you get lots of exercise. Like I said, an hour, hour and a half, 4 or 5 times a week. Eat well. Eat well. Don't, KFC and no. Although KFC potato wedges are kind of cool. And you want, because the point is not denying yourself to the point where you become ascetic. No. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and part of enjoying life is being able to savor foods, flavors, tastes, odors, perfumes, and people, and being able to feel your body work, feel your heart pump, feel your muscles work. Every now and then get out of breath and say, Lord have mercy, what am I doing? That's part of taking care of your health. That's part of improving your health. And that's part of living well. So tomorrow, Jazz is going to talk to you about her cancer, which many people used to think was unavoidable. Just a couple of days ago, I read something that said, yes, that avoiding cancer, actually, in many, many instances, the cancer can be avoided by, guess what? By nutrition and exercise, by looking after your physical health. Not dieting yourself to a bone. No. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about eating well and getting enough exercise. Eating well does not mean eating salad all day, every day. It means eating what your body needs, and your body needs fruits and vegetables and protein and carbohydrates. Yep, potatoes and pasta. I love pasta. Olive oil, coconut oil. There's nothing wrong with butter. My favorite oats is how the Scots do it. You boil it in water and then you lather it in fresh cream. I don't do that every day, but I do sometimes. And when I do, I savor and I enjoy. And that helps keep me healthy. So it's a physical thing and it's a mental thing. And the mental piece is the enjoying the life and not stressing about it. And if you eat lots of cake today, then eat lots of apples tomorrow or whatever. So you balance it and you keep healthy. So food, nutrition and exercise and reduced stress protects you from all kinds of diseases, all kinds of illnesses. It even strengthens your body against the communicable diseases. Because when your body is strong, you don't catch things as easily and as severely as when your body is weakened. So what? Make time for yourself. Take time for yourself. And that time, make some of it looking specifically, deliberately looking after your health. I want to be able, when I'm 90 and 95, to be able to dance all night. That might be a bit much, but you get my point. I want us all to not be unavoidably. We want to avoid as much of it as we possibly can, and much of illness and sort of degeneration that people say come with getting old. Just the other day, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. We were talking about that, about people. We have this notion that there's a certain way you're supposed to behave when you get old. And old is when you, I don't know, 50 or 60 or whatever. And so just allow yourself to stop doing this and stop doing that because you're getting older now. And of course, there are certain things you stop doing. I mean, last year I had a fall off a horse, and this gentleman friend of mine said to me, Shirley, don't you think you're a little old for such spirited horses? And he probably was right. But that doesn't mean to stop riding horses. No, it means that when I fall now, and if I fall now, I'll break, possibly more easily than I did when I was younger, but not necessarily, because if I've been doing my resistance exercises, so my bones will still be solid, and my body, my muscles will still be fit enough to absorb, and I'll still be flexible enough and quick enough to be able to. You with me? So my strong recommendation is that you, in the mornings, get up in the mornings, go for a walk. 5 days a week, Monday to Friday maybe. During the week, the work week, if it's not before you go to work, it's when you're coming home from work. But every day, make time for your health. When you eat, instead of just wanting salt and sweet, look for flavors, man. Look for flavor and texture. And savor and enjoy. Savor and enjoy. I promise you, you will eat less, you will enjoy your meals more, and you will be healthier. Take that from me. I've had a lifetime of doing that. I stopped eating meat when I was a teenager. I stopped eating all kinds of things. I started doing yoga when I was like 13. And there are times when, for 2 or 3 weeks or maybe a month, I might not walk because, something's going on in my life. But then I start again. And when stuff is going on in my life, I make a special effort to get exercise because it helps me, gives me the space to process what's going on. After my dad died, what helped me was hot yoga. Hot yoga laid me out 3-4 times a week. And I kept going because having to focus on the hot yoga took my mind off stuff. And when I came out, I was drenched and drained, and I had got back in touch with another little piece of me and another little piece of me and another little piece of me. After my mom died last year, walking is what got me through. Walk, and I walk every morning on the city streets of Phoenix. I walk at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, me alone and, the guys who were going to, police officers were who I was meeting. But the walking helped me process, took my mind off, had me see other things, think other things, and every day got me in touch with a little bit of me. And so I heal. And that is part of being healthy, part of what got me to be healthy. Hot yoga is awesome. It is, Nika, it really is. So try it. Go do something. And if it's hard to do it by yourself, sign up for a yoga class or sign up for an aerobics class, step aerobics, Pilates, spinning, something. If it has to be done if it's easier for you to do it in company, then do that. But get it. And stop stressing about, stuff. Eat, drink, and be merry. Get some exercise. Take care of yourself. Spend time with your friends. Love people. Let yourself be loved. And let your health just kind of take you through today. Die healthy. That's my motto. I'm going to die healthy. I'm just going to die healthy. All right. So thank you all very, very much for hanging out with me. Tomorrow, Jazz and I will be on at about 2:30 Eastern time because we're working with her time tomorrow. So it'll be on at 2:30 Eastern time. But of course, if you can't make it, you're at work or something, then you can watch it afterwards and leave me a comment and tell us how you feel, what it did for you. If there's something you want to recommend or suggest or some comment you want to make. And look forward to after that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and so on. We'll talk about other things, what's coming up. We'll talk about the circle that's coming up next month. And I look forward to seeing you all in there. All right. So thank you all so very much. Tanika, cousin mine, have yourself a pleasant night. Everybody else who's on, thank you. Take good care. I will see you soon.